Well, how's it going, my good faithful YouTube viewers and listeners? It is the Jer Bear. Today's date is Saturday, February 5th, 2022. So I haven't done a lot of daily rants lately, but there is something I need to discuss openly. It's kind of been on my mind, and I want to get it out there into the open. There's actually a couple of things I want to talk about in this daily rant. So I'm going to get right to it. I hope you've all been doing well. I hope you've been staying warm. We just got blasted with winter here in Michigan like not long ago. On Wednesday, we really got hammered with a lot of fucking snow. We're still digging out and shoveling out and doing all that extra good shit that only we do here in Michigan in the wintertime. So to get to the rant today, and I thank you all for joining me. It's been a while. I think this is the actual first daily rant of the new year. But I wanted to talk about something that's kind of been on my mind these past few days. Now, as most of you know, I'm back on Facebook again, and I noticed nonchalantly, I was just scrolling through some of the childhood cancer pages just to see what was going on, see what everybody else is up to, and seeing, find out how the kids are doing, how the warriors are doing and everything. And I stumbled upon the Still Brave Childhood Cancer Foundation page, and I noticed that the latest post on that page was a request from a young man who is a cancer warrior, and I'm going to guess it's his mother. She was requesting that people send cards to her son. I think he's like 27 or something like that. And his mom, like I said, I'm assuming it was his mother. She wanted people to send cards and letters and such to her son, who's a cancer warrior. Okay, not a problem. However, the only mishap I see with that on the page is that they want people to send the cards and all the mail to this kid. They want you to send it to Still Brave, the address of Still Brave, as opposed to actually sending it directly to the warrior in question. And that's, I got to talk about that a little bit, because while it is, it is a nice gesture. I don't want to discredit or discount this as something horrible or bad or terrible. It's not. It's an ego thing again. How hard would it have been for the mother of this warrior to say, you know what, send this mail directly to my son? Why would you then have to go through a middleman, so to speak? And why would we have to send cards and letters to Still Brave when we could just as easily send it directly to the warrior in question? And I understand, that it comes up to where people say all the time, well, a lot of people don't feel comfortable with, putting their personal, mailing address out there, which I can understand. But even then, at that point, you would have to question even considering doing that in the first place. Why would you even, why would you consider that? If you don't feel comfortable with giving people your personal address or even a post office box, then get rid of that fucking idea. Why would you go through with that anyway? Now, when I write to cancer warriors and survivors, I usually have this is how I get the addresses, and I don't go digging around. When I send mail to cancer warriors, most of the time the parents will provide a mailing address because their warrior likes to receive cards and letters and stuff like that, which is fine. Because it just makes it so much easier to get mail for the warrior, letters, cards, and such. It makes it so much easier to get it directly to their children, in question. Or if I develop a really good friendship with, like a lot of my friends, I'm really super tight with a lot of the people I talk to, from the people I've met in the childhood cancer world. I have their mailing address. They give it to me privately, and between the two of us. And with the strictest of confidentiality, I keep that between the two of us. I'm not going to plaster it all over social media if, in fact, they don't feel comfortable with putting their mailing address, post office box information out on the public platform. You know, they'll say, well, yeah, he likes getting stuff in the mail, but you know, here's our address. Just please don't give it out. You know, don't give it to anybody, which is fine. I'm totally on board with that, and I uphold my end of the deal on that. I don't give out personal, private information that, you know, at their request, they don't want that information being released. Okay, cool. I still want to, you know, write a letter to your warrior, introduce myself, tell him some information about what I've been through, and I keep it under wraps. But the thing is, this is one more attempt at feeding the ego of the at Still Brave. Now, had they written the post as such where, okay, send it to this physical address, that would get this mail sent directly to the warrior, okay, not a big, I would have had more respect if they would have had it like that. But to send it to Still Brave, an address provided by Still Brave, to get it to the kid, now that's a different story, because now this is just a cheap ploy. It's a cheap tactic for Still Brave to try to make a name for themselves. Okay? Once again, they use a vulnerable person. They prey on vulnerability to make a name for themselves. That, to me, is really fucking disgusting. Who does that? I mean, if it's really, like I said, if it's really that big of a problem to send something directly to the warrior, then you wouldn't even suggest doing something like that. You wouldn't even give the address to a, well, actually, you could give your address to a private friend or someone that you really got to know well enough and you trust them enough to give them your address. But we're talking about ego here. If they would have published the post as, this is something that we could do to help this young man, here's his address, you know, send it to him directly. I know lots of parents who do this, though. They, you know, like they wanted me to, or not me in particular, but they wanted people to send all of their mail to a specific mailing address or a post office box that they have set up specifically for their child to receive letters and cards and gifts and things like that, which is fine. But to give, you know, to give Still Brave all the credit for something, see, this is the kind of shit that is just so disingenuous. It is another ploy and another tactic to make themselves look good at the expense of somebody else, and I think it's shitty. I think it sucks. Now, if I really and truly wanted for people to send me stuff, if that was me, I wouldn't have a problem putting my, you know, mailing address, or I wouldn't have a problem setting up a post office box. That wouldn't be a problem. I wouldn't have a problem putting that information out there for people to get it. But I'm sure as shit not going to go through somebody else to play middleman to say, well, just send it to them and they'll send it to me. No, just fucking send it directly to me. Why do we got to play this little song and dance bullshit? Oh, because somebody at Still Brave needs to have their ego stroked once again. I mean, it's just, it's absolute horseshit. It's garbage. Now, again, if they would have published the post with the Warriors' physical mailing address or a post office box, that kind of information where we know it's going to go directly to the kid, I might have had a little more respect for the Still Brave page or the people working behind the scenes. I would have a lot more respect for them if they would have had it like that. But once again, this is a cheap ploy for Still Brave to make themselves look good at the expense of someone else, and I think it fucking stinks. So, that's my rant. I feel better about myself already. Something else I wanted to talk about, which is not even related to childhood cancer or anything to do with childhood cancer in general, but so like most other people, I've been watching the news, and I saw that Whoopi Goldberg was suspended from a TV show called The View for remarks about the Holocaust. She said that the Holocaust had nothing to do with race. And in response to that, I was kind of listening to what other people were saying about, Whoopi Goldberg's comments. And, I agree with what other people say, especially Bill Maher, because I'm a big fan of Bill Maher. He has his own HBO series every Friday. I think it's, I don't know, I think it's 10 o'clock, or I don't even know what time it comes on. Yeah, some fan I am of Bill Maher. I don't even know what the fuck time a show comes on, but he has a program on HBO. It's called Real Time with Bill Maher. And I've always been a fan of Bill Maher. I've listened to a lot of things he said about religion and all that stuff. So I'm really a fan of him, and we're on the same page on a lot of things. But I agree with him what he says about Whoopi Goldberg. He says, they shouldn't cancel Whoopi Goldberg because of a stupid thing she said. She says a lot of batshit crazy things. But why should we start canceling people we don't like? And sadly and oddly enough, that's really what we've come to in this world, in this country in particular, but in this world. Now, when I talk about the bullshit that Stilbray pulled, again, that's not me trying to cancel them out. That's just me saying I think it's bullshit that you're once again fishing for all this attention and notoriety. But in this situation, Whoopi Goldberg fucked up, and she acknowledged that she fucked up by saying what she said on The View. She was suspended for 2 weeks by ABC News. And, okay, I don't think we should be canceling Whoopi Goldberg. I don't agree with her, fucked up statements. I don't agree with that. But she made the statement nonetheless, and she owned up to it. She acknowledged that she fucked up. She's taken the punishment. But let's not actually cancel Whoopi Goldberg, Let's not do that. I mean, that's really fucking stupid to cancel somebody just because you don't agree with what they say, or something that they say may be out of line, out of context, or just straight up fucking false. Let's not cancel people altogether. Give people a chance to say, hey, I fucked up. I said something or done something that I shouldn't have said. Please give me another chance. And, I think if we have that kind of maturity, which I don't think we do, but, just for argument's sake, if we have that kind of maturity, I think we should give Whoopi a second chance and say, you know what, you made a mistake. Although she defended Michael Vick. For those of you who remember the Michael Vick story, he was abusing dogs. She defended Michael Vick tooth and nail. And even then I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This guy is a disgusting individual he was electrocuting dogs, for Christ's sake. Like, how do you defend that? Well, it's the upbringing. They live in the South. It's this, it's that. Whoopi, as much as I've always been a fan of yours, and as much as I've enjoyed your films, just stop defending people. Just shut the fuck up. I mean, she was defending Mel Gibson, for Christ's sake, when he was coming on. He got some national attention for the anti-Semitic remarks, and they were anti-Semitic, and she defended him to the core. And it's like, Whoopi, he was in the fucking wrong for saying the shit he said. And I'm also a fan of Mel Gibson. I've enjoyed Lethal Weapon. I've seen Mad Max a few times. I've always been a fan of Mel Gibson and his work, but what he said there was way out of fucking line. The anti-Semitic comments. And I know this is old news and, it's irrelevant now, but it's the fact that Whoopi Goldberg defends everybody. And I am a fan of Whoopi. I don't agree with a lot of things she says, but I've always been a fan of hers. And I just think it's absolute bullshit. And something else that has been going on in the news lately is this shit going on with Spotify and Joe Rogan and Neil Young and Joni Mitchell. And because I guess, by what I understand, and I've been watching the news a lot lately, I've been, for some reason, listening to the news more than usual. But there was something was going on where I guess Joe Rogan was being accused of giving misinformation about the COVID, and Neil Young made Spotify, or Neil Young had given Spotify an ultimatum. It's either me or Joe Rogan. Well, they chose Joe Rogan. Neil Young pulled his music catalog from Spotify, and I think Joni Mitchell had done the same. There's just all kinds of batshit crazy shit going on. And Joe Rogan, another person who I've listened to in the past, he made a video, and he released a video statement, and he said that he has no ill will against Neil Young, and he tries to get everyone's viewpoints and aspects on certain things. He gets differing opinions, so that way, because what it does is it strikes up dialogue. When people are talking about something, they're doing something. Like if you're having conversations about things that may be controversial, you talk about it. You talk about it, you're doing something about it. So there's just all kinds of shit going on lately. I haven't done a daily rant in quite some time, and I haven't really been here all that long. But in any event, I'm really going back to the Still Brave thing. Like I said, I would have more respect for Still Brave if they would have just put the kid's mailing address on there, like the mother's address. I mean, he's not a minor child. He's 27 years old. He's a man. Why not just put the fucking mailing address on the page? So that way, if we want to send something directly to the kid, he'll get it. And it's not going to be filtered through Still Brave, because what are the odds? What are the chances if I send something? Now, Tom Mitchell doesn't like me anyway, and I really don't fucking care. However, what if I send something and it doesn't make it to that kid? And it could be something, it could be a letter, something of use. Like if I introduce myself, it could be something of use. And they intercept your mail because they have a personal vendetta against you. So the kid's not going to get them. See, that's another problem. It's not just with me. That's anybody who may have, they may have had issues with Tom Mitchell in the past. And if they want to send something to the kid, well, Still Brave is going to intervene. They're going to interject, and the mail's not going to be given to the kid. So that's another issue you run into. I don't know. I just think it's bullshit. People should have more common sense than to allow shit like this to happen. I don't hear much about most people anymore that I've ranted about in the past. I've only made up with like maybe a couple of people when they have heard something horrible about me and they're like, oh, we don't want to talk to you anymore. And then I have to come on here and do shit like this to set them straight. And now we're talking again. As much as I hate to, resort to name calling and pejoratives, but sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get a point across. And after we make up and we come to a conclusion, I do apologize for the comments and the remarks that I've made. And if Tom Mitchell and I ever have another conversation, if he gets a hold of me and he wants to have a discussion, I'd be more willing to have a discussion with him. But I have a feeling it's going to be a very long discussion, not just about this, but other things in the past that have not been resolved. But I think it could have been handled better. Like if you want your kid to get mail, then why not just put your physical address? If you have a problem or an issue with putting your physical mailing address or even a post office box, then you don't go along with the fucking idea. You do something else. You do something else to get other people involved. You don't, if you don't feel comfortable doing something a certain way, then don't consider it. Then jettison the idea and move on to something else. People shouldn't have to send their mail to a nonprofit organization whose CEO has insecurity issues to stroke his ego to make him feel better so they can get all the credit. It's not even about the kid at that point. It's not even about this, and I say kid, although he's not a kid. He's 27 years old. He's not a kid, but compared to me, it's a lame thing to do. It's a really, it's bait. It's baiting in attention so that way they can make a name for themselves. And I don't want to say that all nonprofit organizations are corrupt, because I don't think that is the case. I have supported lots of reputable nonprofit organizations in my day. FAM is shut down by the federal government, which is music to my ears. It just fucking tickles me purple, knowing that FAM is done. They've been shut down. Milk Tyson's probably picking wedgies out of his fucking underpants over this shit. Tom Mitchell, I've had beefs with Tom. There's a lot of things about him that I don't like, I never liked, and I never supported. And most people are aware of the shit, like most people are aware of Milk Tyson. I don't know if they listen to me talk or watch my videos, but nonetheless, they make their own decisions and they draw their own conclusions based on available evidence, which is what I always encourage that. I try to get along with everybody, but sometimes the vitriol needs to happen. Vitriol is what fosters change. Sometimes if you say something publicly about someone, they either change or they don't. Especially if they're in the wrong, clearly. And all I'm saying is, they could have done a better job. They could have easily said, well, this young man, 27 years old, he wants to get letters and cards and stuff. Here's his address. Don't send it to us. We're just going to provide that address for you to send this, to send your mail. We're not going to take credit for any of it. Nope. We got to send it to Stillbrave so they can get the credit. I just think it's shitty. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I just think it's bullshit. There's no hatred involved here. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate Tom Mitchell. But, a lot of things just could be handled differently and more maturely instead of, constantly trying to make it about yourself. If you're all about helping other people, then make it about those people. Don't make it about yourself, man. Just do what you're going to do to help somebody else and go on with your day. Go on with your life, Most people who listen to my daily rants or watch my Sunday videos or, most people know who I am. And they know personally, most of those people know that I have done something for them. And I always say, I don't want the attention. I don't want the attention and the praise parade on social media. Please don't give me that. I don't want that. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm not going to follow a leader. I'm not a leader. I'm an independent, and I do things on my own, in my own time, in my own way. And I help people because I want to see you thrive, because I love you enough to want to help you, because I understand your situation. I understand childhood cancer. I understand all that on a personal level. I'm not trying to do things just to brag about it on Facebook later, just for the likes. Because if we can be real about this, everybody on social media, they internalize likes and hearts and, because it's a dopamine feedback is what it is. And the dopamine goes fucking nuts with a lot of these people. That's why they take the thumbs and the hearts to like, or to heart rather. They take the thumbs and the hearts to heart. Me, I see it for what it is. It's a shit show. And that's why I have removed and eliminated and divorced myself from advocacy, because I can do things on my own and I work better on my own. I want people to see the real Jer Bear for me. I want people to see me for me. I'm not trying to play God to anybody. I'm not trying to be a superhero. I'm not trying to play Superman, or I'm going to swoop in and save the day. I don't have a Superman complex. It's just people need to know how to behave. You're grown enough. You've been around the block a time or two. You fucking know better. You shouldn't act this way. But that kid, and I do feel for the kid, for the 27-year-old, absolutely. Warrior brother, absolutely. But, things could have been done in a more better way. There could have been a better approach. And like I said, if they would have actually published the kid's address, if they would have said, send it to this address or this post office box, I would have had more respect. it would have been a lot better just to say, okay, send it to this person at this address. But no, 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 no. They want all the credit, and that right there is what fucked it up for me. And here I am talking about it. But anyway, guys, this is going to be a rather quick daily rant. I got the house to myself today. I let Dad take the van, and Amy went with him, and they're out spending time together today. And I'm sitting at home by myself, enjoying a nice warm living room, drinking a cup of coffee, and I might video chat with some friends later on Facebook. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, I thank you all so much for indulging me for a little bit. I don't know how long I've been here. I don't have my Audacity recording software because some reason the computer's not recognizing it. So I have to use my other recording equipment and software to do the daily rant. But anyway, I love you all very much. I thank you for listening to this edition of the Daily Rant. And until next time, and I'll see you tomorrow in the Sunday video update. Until next time, toodaloo!